Welcome everyone. Today is going to be really exciting, practical, interactive. So this isn't just the theory of LinkedIn, like we're going to have some theory, but it's all based on practical experience. So I really care about results and I'm going to share with you real results and real learnings as well. And so what I'd love for you to do as we're going through today is to really reflect on how this relates to you. I better turn my phone on silent. Yeah, it's being recorded, Michael. How this relates to you and your business, because we can then have discussions afterwards around how to tweak it for you, how to get those best results, because it's about using LinkedIn, but, you know, tweaking it and modifying it for your business. So we're going to keep that in mind all through it. So if you just sit here, go, oh, yeah, that's nice, great theory, it's going to be of limited value. There's going to be various stages where I'm going to ask you to work out how this applies to your business. So I really encourage you to do that as we go through. So can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, beautiful. So this isn't about how to tinker on LinkedIn. This is about how to kick butt on LinkedIn. And so as Maureen said, LinkedIn's been really successful for us in terms of growing our business. And I've supported, Maureen and I've supported like hundreds of people with this to varying degrees. So we've got a lot of learnings that we've, learned in our business, doing it ourselves and with other people. So this is about what you need to do to really, really smash it. And in terms of the practicalities of how to do the little bits in LinkedIn, we've got training for your virtual assistant team on how to do that. So we're not covering that today. We've got separate training for that. This is around the strategy, the high-level stuff, and how it's going to apply to you. Awesome. So Maureen, would you like to share? You used to be a LinkedIn non-believer.
Yes. So as some of you know, I've been in business for 17 years and I was an early adopter of Facebook and Facebook advertising back in the days when, cost you 10 cents or something. Very cheap, and it was really successful. You'd put an ad out there and you could fill an event. So I was very convinced that Facebook was the way to go for me. I had a profile, but not much else. The other thing I used to do was I'd go onto LinkedIn and think, oh, I need more connections. So I do it randomly based on how good looking people were or whether their job title sounded good. So, which is fine, but not really a great business strategy. Then I connected with Carmen and she'll tell you about how she went all out, but she got me doing videos and the rest is history. Over to you, Carmen.
Awesome. So way back when I started my business, I had this delusional thought that people are just going to find me and want me to do work for them. And all of us who are in business knows how crazy that is now. But at the time, I was naive and I thought that was what was going to happen. So then I quickly worked out that I needed to market myself, and I decided that LinkedIn was going to be my platform. I'd done some research. I worked out that it's a great platform to get what we call B2B leads, so businesses who are selling to businesses, which are almost all of us here. And so I worked out how to get work on LinkedIn. And within the first few weeks, I got Noe, then amazing virtual assistant, to be able to support me with that, because I was getting those leads, and then it freed me up to have those discussions. So if you do this and you do this properly, you are going to get those results. But there are people out there who love LinkedIn for the sake of it. So I've even coached like a LinkedIn expert. Like that's all she does in her business, support people with LinkedIn. I'm not one of those people who's in love with LinkedIn because it's LinkedIn. I'm in love with it because it gets results. And so that's what we're going to talk to you about today, to get results. And Maureen, what's the number one rule of any social media?
You've got to get people off the social media. So whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, you need to get them off. So you need to get them on the phone talking to you. You need to get their email address. you need to somehow get their details so that you can continue the conversation offline.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about LinkedIn, but we're also going to talk about how to get people off LinkedIn, because that's the aim of the game, isn't it? We don't just want a whole heap of LinkedIn connections who like us. We want to get them off into our databases, becoming clients on our other social media platforms so we can surround them with our goodness. So it's all about how LinkedIn fits to the broader strategy. So that's the twist that we're going to talk about today, but that's where the real value is. Okay, so why LinkedIn? So the stats say that 80% of B2B leads come from LinkedIn. So you'll see us. We play on other platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, et cetera, and we get, and now recently Clubhouse, and we get leads from those platforms. But if I had to choose one platform to play in and one platform to go hard on, it would be LinkedIn. LinkedIn still remains our number one source of leads in our business. And as I'll show you, LinkedIn, we can then connect with all the other platforms. So, if you're going, I don't have time and energy or, focus or, I need to choose where my virtual assistant is going to spend their time, I highly recommend that you consider LinkedIn, because 80% of B2B leads come from LinkedIn. So I asked Jonathan, one of our team members who does all of our appointments and diary, I said, Jonathan, can you send me a few screenshots of leads I've got from LinkedIn recently? This is just from my profile of the last few weeks. Carmen, I already have a VA, but I'm interested in your service and fees. Carmen, can I arrange a call to see if you can assist? I'm in Melbourne. I've been referred to you. Can we have a chat? Here's my phone number. So the tip is, if someone says, here's my phone number, it's usually a pretty hot lead. And so, I spoke to her yesterday and she's continuing. I'm keen to chat. I need a VA, my mobile, super to the point, and once again, a really hot lead. Hey, Carmen, how are you doing? Sorry for not coming back sooner, but I'm now keen to start the VA process. So this is obviously someone I've spoken to at some point in the past, now coming back to me. She wants to meet me for coffee. No, sorry, but I'll meet you on Zoom. And so, then we can meet then. Hey, Carmen, so and so give me your details. I'd love to have a chat about your experience and offerings regarding VAs. So the other point we're going to explore today is clients, but also referrals as well. So you'll find that as you increase your LinkedIn presence and you grow that relationship with your referrers, you're going to get more referrers from LinkedIn as well. Hey, Carmen, I need more of that. So I must have shared a little bit about, what we do and what we roll. I'll have a call to schedule with you. It's been great connecting. So they're just some real life examples from the last few weeks, and that's just my profile, not let alone Maureen's profile, of the sort of leads that can come through from LinkedIn when you're using it properly. And with social media, a lot of people think you just tinker in it, do a little bit, but I'm going to talk to you today about how to go hard on it. And I'm not going to talk to you about the technical bells and whistles and this and, I'm going to talk to you about the things that are going to have a big impact on LinkedIn. So we're going to talk about your target market. So the clearer you are on your target market, the better it's going to be. So we're going to support you to get clear today. We're going to talk about content, because you need to put yourself out there. Maureen and I speak to people all the time who go, I've seen you on video. I know what you're about. Yes, I need to communicate with my virtual assistant. I talk to people about your latest videos and things like that. So I had someone say to me, it was a bit freaky actually, someone say, Carmen, if there's ever Maureen and Carmen trivia, I'm going to be the winner. Anyway, so there are people that just review your content all the time. And we're going to talk a lot about that and what makes good content and how to do it really quick and really easy, because, I like big bang for my time. We're going to talk about your profile, but once again, just the things that are going to give you the biggest bang. A lot of people, they bang on about your profile and that's the only thing they talk about with LinkedIn. That's good, but you need to have the other stuff as well. So we're just going to talk about your minimum viable product to be able to do the rest of it. We're going to talk about expanding your network, so increasing the number of connections on LinkedIn, making sure they're with the right people. And the final thing, but I think it's a piece of resistance that most people don't do very well, is the reach out. And this is the main way in which you get people off LinkedIn. What would you like to share, Maureen?
That reach out is magic, especially if you've already got loads of connections. Even if you did none of that right now, you've probably got gold in them there hills, people. So even if you did a little bit of a reach out strategy right now, you'd probably get some goodness out of it. But obviously, doing all the rest is great. But there's been some magic in that for us.
Yeah, beautiful. So we're going to step you through all these things. And what I want you to do is think about your business or your client's business and think, how can we make this work for us? Like Maureen said, you might just want to do the reach out at the moment because, you can get this big influx of leads if you do that right and you've already got connections. So there's so many opportunities out there and it's really exciting. Okay, so let's talk about your target market. So let's get down and dirty, pull our sleeves up. Okay, so your target market. On LinkedIn, the more specific you are about your target market, the better it is. And you can go for customers or you can go for referrers. Now, obviously, there's going to be some overlap for some people, but I think the more specific you are, the better it is. Now, Andrew, I hope you don't mind me using an example. So Andrew, he supports families. He coaches families who've got children and help them, navigate that complexity. And he's really great at supporting those people. Now, obviously, there are people on LinkedIn with families, but we've through a chat yesterday, we decided that the best action for him was actually to target referrers. So potentially school teachers or people that actually interact with those families. Or another one that we were exploring are people who provide services to his target market. So in that case, we'd be going for referrers rather than customers. You can go for either. It really depends on your business and what's most important for you. So we're going to go through the criteria that you're going to need for a target market. But before we do, Maureen, do you have anything else to add around deciding whether to go for customers or referrers on LinkedIn?
One thing that I've learned over the years is you make a decision, you act on it, and then you recalibrate it, like you would when you're sailing. Like, okay, the wind's blowing this way right now. Okay, we're going to tack this way. So decide is my message. So don't get caught up in, we could do this, we could do that. You can do it and you can do it for 3 months. So at one stage, for instance, we just found that we were getting a few financial services industry clients. So Carmen said, hey, let's focus on financial services. So we did a target market around financial services for a couple of months. And then we did corresponding content to match that target market. So, and then after 3 months, do we want to do this? No, actually, let's do it. Let's tack again and choose a different target market. So don't get caught up in getting it perfect. You don't have to do it forever. Thanks, Carmen.
Yeah. And it's a great point, Maureen. You can't get it wrong. So the wrong way would be to go, I just want to do everyone and not commit. But I think there's value in committing. So, for example, way back when I started on LinkedIn, my target market were healthcare leaders. And you go, well, that's very different to what you do now, like as small business owners. But, we've now got a number of clients who've left the healthcare space or become, consultants in the healthcare space, and they've followed me through. So if you change your tune, that's fine. But you need to think, get as specific as you can. So I'm going to show you the criteria to consider when choosing people to target. These are criteria that are based on LinkedIn, and they're based in LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So if you want to go hard on LinkedIn, I really suggest you consider the LinkedIn Sales Navigator product. It's $100 a month. I don't get commission from LinkedIn. It'd be good if I did, though, because I've got a lot of people on it. It allows you to have more functionality and find these people. So one of the things that you consider with your target market is your position. So are you targeting business owners? Are you targeting teachers? Are you targeting the chief financial officers in organisations? So what position are you targeting? Then you think about...
So something with there is you need to think about what they're referred to, what the term is as well. So really be thinking about what people are called, because they might be, business owners can be called different things.
Yeah. So then you need to consider the industry. So you don't have to go narrow on all of these potentially, but the more specific you are, the more powerful it is. So the industry. So Graham, I know Graham supports a number of different industries. One of them is healthcare. And so he might have a campaign for healthcare. And then I know he also supports people who do like the high risk work stuff, like the electrical stuff. Anyway, Graham knows it better. But there might be that might be one target market sometimes. So Graham might want to play with industries and see which ones he's got the best response with. Then Rowan, you might have had a number of people who've wanted finance from you from a certain industry, and you might go, oh, these people, I like how they think and I understand their needs, understand their pain points. Let's go hard on that industry. And so you can just do that. Like I think 3 months is a great time period just to go, let's just focus on these people. Then we've got the size of the company. So on LinkedIn, the size of the company is defined by how many team members they have. And there's filters. So there's like 1 to 10, and then there's like 10 to 20, and then like 20 to 50. And so we need to think about those filters. So for example, Peter, I was talking to Peter, I think it was. And so Peter doesn't really want to tackle the business owners like with 1 or 2 team members. He wants to tackle the business owners with more team members. So it's about actually unselecting the 1 to 10 and let's just go for the next size up. So it's about being really clear on who you want to target, and that the size of the company also might influence the position. So for example, if you've got a large company, and you want to target the person who makes some financial decisions, then you might target the chief financial officer. But if you're going for a small company, you're probably going to go for the business owner. So, you'll see that those two things interlink. Then you have gender. This isn't a LinkedIn thing, but this is something that we've done for a number of clients. And the virtual assistants, they look at the people and go, are they male or female? And then decide accordingly about whether to connect with them. So this is a really good one, depending on your business. I know that we've got some clients who primarily work with one gender. And so why connect with the other genders? Let's just focus our energies on that one gender. And then we have geography. So, yeah, theoretically, Maureen and I can work all across the world. We just got a client in Canada today. We've got a client in Spain, whatever. We can do that. But for the moment, most of our marketing strategy is in Australia because we get Australians. We've got our systems are designed for Australians, that's where we're focusing. So I really, even if you can work everywhere, like where do you have your networks already? Where will they go? Oh, yeah, Carmen. I know Carmen. I know Andy uses Carmen because, Andy's big in networking. So, and they can form those connections. So I really urge you to consider once again, consider the geography that your target market would be in. So,
and also, Carmen, just on that. So, for instance, we had people tacked during COVID. So Brisbane's going to be better than Melbourne. If you're targeting small business owners during COVID potentially, with shutdowns, etc. So for us, you know, we've really found a high take up in Sydney. So we would be crazy not to make sure that we're incorporating that when we're looking at the geography.
Yeah. So, like I said at the start, this is going to be more helpful if you really consider how this is going to work for your business or your client's business. So what I'm going to ask you to do in a second is to type into the comments your target market. Pick one. You don't have to stick to it forever. It's just picking one because you're going to use this target market. You're going to think about them. You're going to think about what they're thinking, what their pain points are, everything as we go through the session today. So, I'll give you 1 minute to type into the comments your target market that you're going to use in this exercise today. So go now, please. Okay, so 15 more seconds, get it in. Awesome. So Maureen, I've done something to my 3 screens and I can't see the comments. So could you share with me what some people's target markets are?
Yeah. So we've got Rowan said business owners in construction with staff up to 20 in Melbourne. So what I like about Rowan's is he's ticked off the position, business owners. Rowan might also put there, because, you know, a business owner can also call themselves a director or an MD. So you might want in that position field, put everything else that business owners are called. And then I like the construction. He's really clear about his industry. The size of the company was great too, that 1 to 20. So he ticked those first two boxes that he's able to tick. And he's mentioned the geography. So that was great. Peter's done, it's got to scroll back up. Peter's, I've got Alex has got private companies, small to medium. So Alex, you'd probably tease that out a little bit more with using the criteria, and go, okay, what it really is medium? You know, is it, 50 to 100? Is it over 100? Is it your idea of medium, or is it the government's idea of medium? So just get yourself really clear on that. And I know you probably are, just for the sake of, but I just thought I'd mention it. Peter's got mid-size accounting practices and financial services are great. Again, my point again, work out what you mean by mid-sized. I'm sure you guys know what you mean. And then we've got Des has got Australia and New Zealand owners, CXO, industry, architecture, education, management, financial services, headcount 10 to 20, 11 to 50. There's someone who's done it before. Excellent. And then Peter's add some more, 10 plus employees. He's got a turnover there, and also mentions business development.
Awesome. All right, cool. So embody those people, those target market, because we're going to carry them through the session today. If you change your mind at some point in the future, that's fine, because everything we are doing still applies. You just run through this with the next target market you choose. All right, so we've got our target market. Yay! Now we're going to speak about content. So content. What do we mean by that? So content is putting yourself out there. Now, content is not just about sharing articles in your area. Like, you can do that, but it's not going to have a big impact. Content is sharing.
Can I just jump in one thing about the target market, Carmen? So
Yes.
your VAs can connect with those people, like you set up your target market and save it. I know we're not getting into too much technicalities, but how many people would you advise connecting with per day these days?
Probably about 50 to 75.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So if you do your figures and go, okay, we're going to try, and I'm going to get my VA to connect with 50 people in this target market, considering it's going to take a time for some of them to get back to you, and then you might get, say, 20 accepting your request. So if you're doing your stats around it, that's what you're looking at. Thanks, Carmen.
Yeah.
Content.
Yeah, beautiful. So we're going to talk about content today that is once again going to have an impact. And it isn't the not just the soft content of, oh, let's share someone else's thing and whatever. No, this is about putting yourself out there, putting you out there as a person on LinkedIn. So Andy's, I can't see Andy here, but let me just pick on Andy. So there's Andy. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm here.
So Andy, I mean, I picked on you publicly already, but what chat did we have the other day about you putting yourself out there on content? Do you want to share?
Yeah, basically stop overthinking, just getting on video, share yourself, and just do it. VA can only do so much, and if they don't have content to share, you got nothing.
Yeah, beautiful. And Andy's done an amazing job of that. So well done, Andy. And so this is about putting yourself out there on LinkedIn. People buy people. They don't really care that you're great at, you just do technology, or that you do uniforms, or that you do VAs, or that you do whatever. They care about you as a person. So they're buying you. So this is about putting yourself out there. Now, obviously, there'll be some people here that go, oh, I wouldn't do what Carmen does. I wouldn't do content in a spa or whatever crazy stuff we've done. But this is about being real to you. So if you do get me on a call, like I've spoken to all of you guys, and you know that I'll have a joke with you and a laugh, and I might even be a little bit inappropriate, and that's who I am when you get me on the phone. So that's who I am in the content as well. So Maureen once said something to me. I remember, like, I was lying on the couch one night, we were having a chat. Maureen said, this is before we were in business together. She goes, Carmen, the person I see on LinkedIn is not the person I'm speaking to now. And I was like, really? It was really confronting, but it was what I needed to hear, because, it became much more effective when I put myself out there in a way that, people were they're going to like me, or they're not going to like me. But when they talk to me to do business, they're going to get the real me, the person that they were attracted to on the video. Maureen, would you like to share something around this?
Firstly, I wasn't lying on the couch with Carmen. We're on the phone. Just number one. But I think it is really, really true that you just get a sense of people. And even if people don't watch your content all the way through, and I know people, listen to the first few minutes first few seconds and go, nah, not interested in what Carmen and Maureen are talking about today, or I disagree, or whatever it is, they've still registered. Or even if they're scrolling past, they still see you in the feed. Andy, did you do a testimonial video for us?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. So I've never met Andy, but I saw his video content, and we kind of did a testimonial video, and he was walking in the bush and he was chatting, and I went, he seems like a really down-to-earth person, and I would trust that guy. And I've never met him. It might have helped you with saying nice things about us, but you get my point. He chose an environment that worked for him. He just says it as it is. And I bet you if I met him, he'd probably be like that as well. So that's what you really want. You want to put yourself out there, not because people are going to think your gems of wisdom are life-changing all the time, but they get a sense of you to know, like, and trust you. And when they do need your service, you're going to be the first person who pops into their head. Thanks, Carmen.
Beautiful. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to share with you some examples, like of things that can trigger ideas for content. So the purpose of this is to get you excited, to get you thinking, what do I want to share? Even if I'm a bit nervous about sharing it, what do I want to share? It can be in a video or a written post, and we'll talk more about that later. This is more about your content. So these are some of the triggers that you can do. The thing you are asked all the time. So one of the things that Maureen and I are always asked is, what can a virtual assistant do? So we've answered that question about 20 different ways on video. And, you know, Maureen's now written a whole book on it, and you'll see more later on how we've used that book to get people off LinkedIn. But, you know, just think about the things you are asked all the time. How do I communicate with my VA? Can they speak English? You know, and so I've done videos and written posts about that stuff to answer those questions. So by the time someone gets on a call with us, you know, those messages, if they've seen our content, they're going to be know more about us and know about how we roll. And so you can do the same thing in your business as well. So Rowan might get asked about, am I eligible for this, you know, this car, or can I get finance for this? And so maybe Rowan, you know, obviously he's got regulation and stuff, but share answers to those questions so that people already have a little bit of a heads up before they even speak to him. Andy, he's supports people with technology. So he's at the moment sharing tools to be able to share passwords virtually. And so, you know, that's something that I'm sure he's asked as well. So you can think about the things that you're asked all the time. And so the next trigger to think about things for content is the thing that annoys you about. So, Maureen, you want to share the one you came up with this morning about Q?
Oh, I get really annoyed. So Carmen's like, got to do content on this, Maureen. That so many people ask us about whether they can trust a VA, the trust issue. And I just said, you know, we would never get that question about trust if the person they were hiring was in Q or North Shore or New Farm, wherever you are in Australia. So I feel very strongly about that. And so Carmen, as soon as I said it, because it was in passing, we were talking about some other things, and I just said that it happened again and it was annoying me. And then she said, oh, let's put that in content. That's gold, Maureen. And so she often, as I'm speaking, she gets her computer out and starts typing. And then she sends it off to the VA. And the next thing you know, it turns out, you know, I see it there on LinkedIn as a quote in a meme or something that the VAs have put together for us. So if there's anything that annoys you, you find yourself talking about to other people, or even downloading at the end of the day because it annoys you, then that's gold, because it probably annoys other people, or it's thought-provoking. And you might go, oh, actually, I disagree with what Maureen said, but at least you're getting people's attention. So I think the thing that annoys you is a good one. Thanks, Carmen.
Yeah. So the other one is celebrate when something is done well. So, for example, you might have a business owner who's just started with their virtual assistant, and they're like, how long is it going to be before I feel relieved? And then they go, you know, a week and a half into it, they're like, Carmen, this is the best thing I've ever done. And so you can share that celebration when something's done well. So either for your business, or maybe you can celebrate one of your team members. So we sometimes celebrate the virtual assistants in our content. You know, there's some of those examples. Maureen, do you have examples of celebration?
It can be just the smallest thing that you might want to, you know, celebrate. But what you can do is you can weave in a little bit of a story, so like almost like a mini case study in your celebration. So you can almost share what you do through when you celebrate. So for instance, you might say, you know, I just want to celebrate how we've really put ourselves out there on Clubhouse. It was really scary, and you know, we went into an international room and we're just celebrating getting our first client from the States, and you know, it was a really big deal for us or something. But then people are going, oh, they do VAs and they're on Clubhouse, and oh yes, and they, you know, they've got clients in the States. So you can sort of weave things into your celebration. You can also celebrate your clients. We really like doing that because you're sharing the love. So your current clients are going to love you even more if you're doing as many, you know, if you're celebrating their success as well. So, and it doesn't even have to be about work. It might be a personal life. So I think, you know, when I walked the marathon, we would have put a post up of me finishing the marathon because it's exciting and it's a celebration and it shares a little bit about you as a person, you know, of what you're doing. So it doesn't always have to be business. Thanks, Carmen.
Yeah. So the next one's a case study, which, you know, is obviously a client story, but, you know, spice it up with some emotion as well. So it's not the dry case study of person A came to me and then they walked away, you know, with a new man. Like it's like tell their story in the case study. The one thing to remember, so this often gets people, even when I watch my old videos, I'm like, what am I going to say? Like, I don't even know like what my one thing is, and I find myself curious about what I said 6 months ago. Like, the one thing to remember when hiring a virtual assistant is that they're human, or whatever, you know, the one thing.
Yeah, all of you could do it. Like, the one thing to remember to get in order before you go for finance. The one thing to remember before you choose a logo. You know, the one thing to remember, never to say to your child. You know, those things are provocative and people would really go, yeah, really relate to them.
Yeah. So don't do it like this, so you can tell horror stories. So one of our really successful posts was me telling this story, how we interviewed a virtual assistant for a role in our company, and she hadn't had a day off in 4 years. No day at all, no weekends, no holidays, nothing. And so like you can tell some stuff ups of, you know, as well. You can also tell your own stuff up. So when I stuffed up, so, you know, you can often say to people, oh, I love it when you share, like you seem really real. So we can go, look, you know, we had a client and she started with a virtual assistant and it was all going well, but then something happened and, you know, then the virtual assistant didn't work out, but then you always like redeem yourself. So then we worked with the client over, you know, what the best option was going to be, and we did this, and, you know, now it's happy days. So you come back up, but you can share how you stuffed up so that people can see that you're people, and that, you know, even if things don't go exactly to plan, you're going to be there to support them. So
this is gold, and especially because I've had a few friends of mine in business in the past, and one of them, he's really slick and shiny and beautiful and does a really great job with people, but he said, that's what I learned from you, Maureen. I learned to start being a bit more vulnerable and share when you know, things didn't go well. And I think it's really powerful, especially for men, to share this because it's a little bit unexpected. That's not, you know, and I'm overgeneralizing, I know, but it's like, oh, I love it when I hear people saying, look, this happened, we didn't do this well, and now we're doing this. Because people really, really relate to it and builds the trust so much.
Yeah, beautiful. And then there's learning. So, you know, I could say something like, Maureen and I made some really big decisions in our business. There's some sound's not playing nice. So I could say something like, Maureen and I made some really big decisions in our business yesterday, and we both woke up feeling a little bit uneasy But when I really reflected on it, I'm really glad that we're feeling uneasy. It means we're making big steps. And so I've chosen to see feeling a bit uncomfortable as success. So, my message to you is if you're feeling a little bit uneasy, but because you're playing big, then good on you, go for it. That's a possible learning. So it could be like a practical learning. So I've learned to do this on LinkedIn, or it could be just that personal reflection. So then everyone watching it, and this is a true story. Maureen and I were just talking about it this morning. People were watching it going, oh, cool, well, they're doing big things, that they're feeling uncomfortable, they're not invincible, they have the same thoughts that we do. And once again, it just makes you seem real.
Yeah. So can I just say the other thing with content? So I'm a writer, so my default is to write. Just be careful of getting caught up, writing too much. You start a piece if you really like writing, and then get your VA to cut it up, get some quotes out and repurpose it, and then also repost it. So, in 3 months or 6 months, you get it out there and post it. But then also I didn't used to do video, but it's the quickest and easiest way to get your content out there. You can get your VA to edit it basically for you, put some B-roll in there, make it a bit fun. Get some pattern interrupt in there for you as well. But raw video is better than nothing. So, but don't spend too much time creating masterpieces yourself. Yeah.
And so we've created some ideas about the sort of things that you could talk about in your content. It is by no means a complete list, but just things to get you started and thinking. So if you're a business owner, I think, you can lead this part, but also if you're a virtual assistant and your business owner says something amazing, like Maureen said today, you can go, stop there. I want to make that into a quote. Tell me what that was again. Or could you do this? So you can also guide your business owner and go, hang on, let's help you get what you've just said into some content. So that one-liner that Maureen did, we spent an extra 10 seconds on it, and now that's going to be able to be used for content. So that's something that...
Yeah, sorry, go on. Can I just jump in? So Andy's just posted, I thought it's really good advice. One thing I've learned about content, especially for social media, is to pick one subject per post. So thanks, Andy, for that. It's a great reminder to everybody that, if you just choose the one key thing that you want to say and focus it around that particular thing, because it's much more impactful to go deep rather than wide. People want the answer to the one question rather than tidbits on a whole lot of things.
Yeah, beautiful. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to ask you in a second to spend a minute and write down 3 ideas of content that you could do or you could support your business owner with. Be as specific as possible. That thing we spoke about on Tuesday morning, we could do something about that. That thing you said about, people in queue, we could do about that. So it's about coming up with 3 ideas, because this is about action and getting things happening. You can use the prompts that we have here, or, other ideas that you have yourself, but it's about being really specific. So if you spend a minute now writing in the comments 3 ideas for content that you have. All right, so 15 seconds. All right. So, Maureen, what are some of the exciting bits of content ideas we've got?
I've got how to get your kids to listen. Oh, winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Oh, I want to know that one, Andrew.
Things not to say to your kids. Love that too. What your whining child is trying to tell you. I love that because it's quite emotive, and then it's using a term that that they use, but then probably when it goes into the article, it's going to be talking more about why we should be listening deeper than that. Then Peter's got sales processes and technology, self-assessment, Google form, CRA adoption checklist, CRM migration infographic. So they're awesome ones, Peter. Thanks for that. And then, you know, he can spice them up for his CRM adoption checklist. He might say something like a checklist to ensure when you adopt a new CRM, you get it right the first time or something, you know, like just make it into a, get some really good copy with that. Graham's got don't you hate a website that is too generic. We've just launched ... So it's another one, sorry, we've just launched. So that's great. He's going to talk about launch. Pressure is on. Oh, that sounds interesting, Rowan. Alex has got coaching, not doing everything, ambiguity. Mauro's sharing tips, sharing best engagement tips. That's cool. And then Evan using professional photos to attract engagement. And so on. So there's really good, what I love about what people have done is they've got to the crux of exactly what they're going to talk about. I think all they need to do is be thinking, you know, when you actually start putting it together, that was just a brainstorm. So that's what we, you know, what you've done is great. When you actually want to put it out as a what you're going to talk about it, part of what attracts the person to listen to it is how you start it and what you call it as well. So make sure that you've got some sort of punchy outline title or something a bit provocative. So my one of why you should not get a VA, or why all coaches are, why coaches are ineffective, or something like that. It's actually that, you know, that reverse psychology where you're saying something's, you know, negative to then show how it's done right. So just be mindful of your headings when you actually do it. Okay, thanks, Carmen.
Beautiful. So then there's obviously different types of content, and I've just listed the main ones here. So there's video, and I'm going to talk more about this one in a sec because this one we need to talk about because you all should be doing it. Then we've got text, and I'm going to show you an example of a text post, and Maureen can guide you through what makes a great text post. But then we've got like other ones. So we've got text and picture. So, you know, perhaps you've got a text post that's gone up in the past as just a text post. Maybe you can, your virtual assistant can then put a picture with it and the text. Audiogram. So have you been on a podcast lately? Perhaps your virtual assistant can create snippets of your genius from the podcast and make it into a beautiful audiogram. So that's like the attractive snippets of sound that you can turn your podcast into. And once again, like one podcast, you might have 5 really awesome snippets that you could use. So that's one way to really, as a, you know, get your virtual assistant support you to really leverage your content. And then you got pictures as well. So Maureen's like little quote that we just sent this morning, that can be made into a picture, might have Maureen there and, you know, whatever, like, and so you'll have your standards in how you do that, but your virtual assistant can turn like a little snippet into a picture post as well. And what my team have started doing is creating the picture post, but they're like moving as well. So there's all sorts of cool stuff to do. But we're going to just focus a little bit on the text, and then we're going to focus on the video. But the whole message here is still a mix of content, and video needs to be in that mix. So this is an example of a text post I did one day. I just woke up and I felt inspired, and I just typed it out, and it went quite well. And then what the team did was they put a picture with it and then put it on Instagram. So it's gone all over the place. What Maureen has taught me with the text post is that each line, you just do a sentence. So you don't see big paragraphs of multi-sentences. You just do a line and a space, a line and a space. Another thing to consider with text posts is that you can only see the top of the text post when you put it on social media. So you need to make sure that it's provocative enough that people go, yeah, I want to read the rest of it. So Maureen, what other things would you like to share with people around what makes a good text post?
So you want it to be, even if you've got a corporate focus, people relate to people. So it works better if they feel like you're talking to them. So you write it as you would speak. So that's why we put the ... dots as a bit of a pause. And it's really good to grab, Graham, who does amazing logos, etc., and, on uniforms and sports teams. Imagine if you started something like, this morning we printed the wrong logo on 100 sports t-shirts or something, like just something to grab someone's attention. Then he's going to tell a story, or whatever it is. So and I think what Carmen said is really important too. If it's sea of text, dunk dung on any social media, if you see a sea of text, our brain doesn't cope with seas of text very well at all. So that's why you've really got to break it up. Another thing with this is Carmen is absolute mastermind at getting the VAs to put this everywhere they possibly can. So if they put it, if it's a really good one, put it on your personal Facebook, put it in your group Facebook, put it in your business Facebook, put it in LinkedIn, put it on Instagram with a photo, like really get your team to spread it out there if you've got something that people really like and you're getting really positive feedback about. But the key there is to reiterate is to make sure that it's casual language, short sentences, and no more than 2 sentences in the one paragraph.
Yeah. And the other thing Maureen taught me was you put what people might be thinking in brackets as well. So seriously, his whole business was about this. So I put that in brackets. So so that's another thing to consider. So that's an example of how you can do text posts. And I don't know, I'm not like Maureen. Text posts just don't come to me unless I'm in the mood. So you'll get like 2 or 3 text posts from me one day, and then you might not see them for another month. It just, they just come or they don't come. But I thought I'd show you just some of my other content. Obviously, you can look at this on LinkedIn. This is just over the last few weeks, other content that's gone up on LinkedIn. It's an interview I did that the team have chopped up. It was a 5-minute interview. It's been made into now 5 pieces of content. This is one of the picture posts. So I just sent this text through. I thought I was a bit funny with my answer, and the team have made it into a picture. This is actually a moving picture, this one. And so they did all that. I just sent through that text. This is promoting an event that we were having. This is, I was in Lawyers Weekly, so once again, we're sharing that all over the place, and I'll talk more about how to share that sort of stuff as well. And this one is just a video of me with kangaroos, pretty random, but, this actually got quite a lot of engagement. This one is a text post with a picture. This one I didn't even write. This one I didn't have any involvement in. This was something that was in our newsletter a couple of months ago, and the team have repurposed it. So I'm all about, getting hyper content out there with me doing as little as possible. So as a business owner, think about the sort of content you can produce now, which might be able to be used down the track. And as a virtual assistant, think about how you can repurpose things or grab things from your newsletter and put it here. Or if Peter says something genius one day, just get those words and make it into a picture. So think about how you can repurpose it. All right, now we're going to talk about video. So you guys are really lucky, or I don't know if you're lucky or not, but when we used to run these, we ran events in person, and we made people do videos. We said, surprise, now you're doing videos, and people used to freak out, and we had videos done and all these emotions. But we can't really do that virtually. And I know a lot of you are already doing videos, which is great, but I just want to talk about videos, because if videos are not in your marketing mix, we need to change it. So what makes a good video? So you do need to have captions on your video, because the stats say that most people watch your videos with their sound off. So you stick captions on it. And there's a couple of options. If your virtual assistant doesn't know how to do that, they can speak to Sheila and can get support with that. Be real and be you. So we've already covered that. So, if the person is going to be speaking to you when they have a sales conversation, then, show them the real you. Like Maureen and I, we find that there are some people that are Maureen people and some people that are Carmen people. And so after our in-person events, it was really funny, because we'd see people that would line up to speak with me and some people line up to speak with Maureen, and they're two really distinct lines. And because Maureen and I are a little bit competitive, we'd go, oh, I have more people in my line, or whatever. But the point here is there are going to be people who are attracted to you. And so it's about doing, just being you and attracting those people. Maureen, did you have anything to add to that?
No, I'm just laughing at the memories back in the day when you could have live events.
Yeah. And I think people get caught up on the technical part of video. So a selfie stick. So Kmart used to have $5 selfie sticks. I think I've now spent $15 on this Kmart selfie stick. It does all fancy stuff that, and so whatever. So a selfie stick is your best friend. So, you can set up all tripods and lighting or whatever, or you can just, hold it in your living room, or hold it while you're going for a walk like Andy, or, having technically perfect videos is not the aim of this game. Having engaging stories and engaging content, that's the aim of this game. So get yourself a selfie stick if you don't have one. All right.
So the video said to me recently, I think I've had it a few times, that sometimes, people are annoying unless you need them. So you might see a bit of content that it's annoying if you don't need it. Occasionally, if you're seeing it all the time, it's never annoying when you need it. So, but you've got to be out there so that people who need you can see you. So just keep that in mind as well.
Yeah. And then in terms of videos on LinkedIn, I suggest 1 to 2 minutes, although I've had very successful ones less than a minute and successful ones more than 2 minutes. So, rules are made to be broken. And when Maureen and I get together, we really struggle doing 2 videos together under 2 minutes. But that's the general rule for LinkedIn. And then I wanted to give you a formula. So, Maureen gave this formula to me. I love formulas. They help me out. So in a video, if you're going, I don't know what to say, how am I going to be engaging, et cetera, I'm going to give you a formula. So the start is a hook. So that's the thing that's going to engage people at the start. So Maureen gave an example before for a written post, but you could do it on a video post. We just put the wrong logo on 100 sports T-shirts. Or the other day, I just spoke to a business owner and a virtual assistant, and I really, stuffed up. So they're the bad stories, or the one thing you can do. So the hook to draw people in. So you don't go, hi, my name's Carmen Williams from Global Teams. We support people with virtual assistants. And today I'm going to talk to you about, I'm bored myself. So it's you jump straight in. So you need that hook. So then the thing that you need is a story or a point. So you can put these different ways. So you tell a story. Can you give me an example, Maureen? I'm having trouble thinking of one.
So the hook might be what to do when people don't call you back. It's like, ooh, oh, you know, I'm interested in that. So that's my hook. So my story might be, for years, when I used to ring prospective clients or even people I'd spoken to, I'd leave a message on the phone and then they'd never call me back. Then my point would be, so this clearly does not work. Leaving messages expecting your prospects to call you back, you know, 9 times out of 10 is ineffective. So the learning there for me is that there's, you know, there's other ways to make it happen. Okay. So then I might take another story and make a point and then say the learning from it. So, and you can do it, as Carmen said, you could do it any particular way, but really as always, the human brain remembers stories. So from today, this session today, you're going to remember the stories. Then your brain's going to go, oh, Maury, Carmen told the story about the kangaroos. What was she talking about? Oh, yeah, that was right. She was talking about doing videos. And then she was talking about just do them. Yeah, okay, I get the point, right? So you remember the story, then your brain gets the point. So that's why when, you know, case studies are stories, testimonials are stories, no one wants to hear just the points. You've got to tell a story. So, for instance, Rowan might say, the hook is how I got finance for someone who'd been turned down by 10 people or 10 banks. And the story was this guy tried and he'd had a really bad credit rating. But the point was that he spoke to me and I was able to find a way to help him. And the learning is don't trust, you know, everybody to give you good advice. So that's just an example of how you potentially do it. Thanks, Carmen.
Yeah. And so, you know, if you do want, you know, if you are in a position where you're shooting your first videos, we're happy to have a look at them and support you with that as well and just go, yeah, that's great, or I'll tweak this. We'll be really real with you to make sure that, you know, the videos are going out are really how you want to represent yourself and they're going to engage people. And it's the videos, like people read the written content, but I just think the videos are a game changer. So they should be part of your plan. Awesome. So we've spoken about target market, content, and now we're going to talk about your profile. Most LinkedIn things bang on about the profile till the cows come home, but I'm just going to tell you a few key things and then we're going to move on because it's pretty self-explanatory. So the most important things about the profile are your face and your name and your headline, they call it. So obviously your face, have a photo of yourself, not too hard. Okay. Now your name, have your name. Now, if you want to be a little bit devious like me and get more space to put your message, you can actually, as part of my surname is not Williams. My surname is Williams, VA specialist and business investor, just, you know, because I wanted more space. So you can actually do that with your name. And then the other thing is your tagline. So your tagline, just think about something that's going to differentiate you. So if you're a coach, don't say you're a coach because there are a million coaches. You know, say something that really differentiates you so people can just go, oh, yeah, Carmen VAs. You know, just look at it. So the reason these 3 things are most important is because people see it when they go to your profile, sure. But people also see it every time you post, every time you comment, every time you ask them to connect, and every time you send them a message. So these 3 things are like the minimum that you need to have to go. Obviously, you know, you can do a beautiful heading. You know, you can get that going on. Then there's a story section. Once again, be yourself, tell a story. But, you know, they're the minimum things I think you need to do to get your profile rocking so that you're, you know, happy to actually do the rest of it. So I'm not going to cover much more of the profile because, like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory, you know, all the rules we've applied, but make sure you've got a good photo and you've got a tagline, minimum.
Can I add one thing? With the first section, which is just a bit about yourself, it's the about section, please don't make it like a resume of, yeah, I did this and this and this and this. As Carmen said, just tell a little bit of a story and, you know, whip in some of the key achievements or potentially people you've helped. And that's it. Yeah, back to you, Carmen.
Yeah. Awesome. So now we're going to talk about expanding your network, and then we're going to get to my favorite, which is reach out. So expanding your network, I know a lot of people on here are already doing this. This is about reaching out to more people so they see your content, because if they're connected to you, they're more likely to see your content than if they're not, that you can actually have conversations with them, and you can do the reach out step, which is the last step that we're going to talk about. So to connect with someone, this is where Sales Navigator is really helpful. And we've got training for the virtual assistants on how to do this, how to create lead lists, et cetera, et cetera. But basically you search for the person using the target market that we identified earlier, and then you ask them to connect. So this is a real example of a connection message that I've used, and these are real results. And you can see that, like, just within, you know, an hour, I've had all these really cool people connect with me. Now, the aim of the connection message is not to go, hi, I'm Carmen, get a virtual assistant from me. No, it's not even to tell them what I do, because they can see my tagline already when I ask them to connect. The only aim of a connection request is to get them to connect with me. That's the only thing. So you don't go in for the sell. You don't put a link in it. You don't do any of that stuff. Short and sweet. I mean, you can't, LinkedIn doesn't let you have many words anyway. And you test and measure it. So I'm a scientist, ha, ha, ha. So I like testing and measuring this stuff. So try a few different things. Work out what works for your audience. We've got one client. I said to her, usually the more casual process works. And she tested and measured it. And the slightly less casual approach for her worked. You know, if you get more people connecting, that's the aim of the game. So as a virtual assistant, you can actually support your business owner. Get two, use one for a week and use one for the next week, and see which one's going to work the best. What, you know, what percentage of connection acceptances are you getting? So you can play with that, and that's a quick one. And, you know, this is an example message. So it's like super, super brief. The next one, the follow-up message, this is where a lot of the strategy comes in. And this is where I also very happy to review your connection messages and provide my 2 cents so that you can, you know, because a small change in this can mean a big difference. This is a connection message that I used at the start of 2020. It's where I share a little bit about myself, you know, a little bit about me. I'm a bit playful. I share about us. I was a little bit cheeky I didn't say, you know, sign up to my calendar, but I did say how I might know someone who can get you a virtual assistant. And I asked them a question about themselves. So this is an example of a message that worked really well. I had a lot of people engaging with me, and occasionally I get people going, actually, I need to talk to you now. But that's not the aim of the game. If you get leads from this, that's great, but that's not the aim. The aim of this is for them to go, Carmen equals VA. That's all I want. Carmen equals VA, and I got her message and she made me feel good. That's it. We're not actually trying to get leads here. Sometimes we do, but that's not the aim. So you don't go in for the sell. You don't say, this is a link to my calendar. Can I support you? You know, you be casual. Once again, people buy people. You share what you do. So you do share what you do. You don't just go, oh, thanks for connecting, full stop, have a great day. No. Hi, you know, share what you do. Hi, I'm Rowan. I support people, busy people that, you know, you know, with finance and this and this and this and this, and then he can ask them a question. We don't say, do you want our VA book? You know, this isn't the time for it, because I'll show you how we do that next. And you ask them about them. You might get responses to that, which is great. It can be good to get responses and people engaging. But once again, the aim is not to get them responding to you necessarily. If they do, that's good. The aim is for them to go, Carmen, she's a bit all right. She made me feel good. You know, VA. Carmen equals VA. That's the whole thing. Maureen, do you have anything to share around this?
No, I think you've done it brilliantly.
Now, I'm trialing something new at the moment, so I don't know how effective it is yet, but it's something I like doing exciting things, and I like using an experiment. So this is a video that I'm sending to people once they connect. So instead of sending a text message at the moment, I'm sending a video, and so this is a video that I shot in my living room, just sharing a bit about myself in my manic state, you know, the same state they're going to see me in on video. And, you know, and then asking about them. So this is something a bit different. This is something that most people don't know how to do on LinkedIn. So the trick is to actually get your virtual assistant to log in on their phone to do it. You can't do it on the desktop. So I was pretty happy when we worked out how to do it. And it's an option. I don't know how effective it is yet, but it's an option and it's different and it gets people's attention. So we've connected with people and we're sending them a follow-up message, and the aim is for them to think Carmen VA, Rowan Finance, Alex Leadership, Peter CRM, Andy Technology, you know, Andrew Kids, you know, whatever that connection you want, that's the aim of that game. Okay. Now, the reach out. Oh, my favourite thing. So this is a thing that I think is completely underutilised, and when it is utilised, it's done really poorly. But this is where the gold is, people. And this is, like Maureen said, if you've already got connections, something you could do now. You know, you do all the other stuff, which is great. You can build your profile so you can reach out to more people in the future. You can do your content, because I do believe doing content and reach out together helps, because, you know, you're getting them from both angles, but the reach out is where the gold is. And so, you know, if we ever, you know, are short on leads, which isn't happening at the moment, but if we were, we just know we'll do a reach out and we get leads. We get a few people going, how dare you, you know, offer me something for free. But you know, sucks to be them, but we know we get leads. So this is really, really powerful stuff. And this is how to get people off LinkedIn as well. So you know how we said the aim of the game? I don't really love LinkedIn for the sake of LinkedIn. I love people because I can get people off LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn because I can get people off LinkedIn. So I'm going to show you a few ways in which we've done it. But we haven't just done it for us. We've worked with clients on this as well. And so if this is something you want to do, this is something where we're happy to support you with our strategy experience as well. Okay, so this one is reaching out to them to get an email from them. So Maureen wrote a book answering our most commonly asked question, what can a VA do? So we sent them a personable message saying, would you like a book? Would you like a copy of the book? Now, we got leads directly from this going, I actually had someone message me the other day saying, I don't need a book, but I want to talk about a VA. You know, just hook me up, baby. So you will get leads just by sending messages, but that's an added advantage. The aim of the game is to get, you know, the emails from these people. So then you can use them in your newsletters, in your Facebook retargeting ads, which are a really effective form of marketing as well. Maureen, do you want to share why this message works so well?
Because I wrote it? No. Okay. So it is, it's chatty. Remember what I said before, no more than 2 sentences a paragraph. So it doesn't have that. I've, you know, addressed the, not jumping straight into it, you know, hi, so-and-so, hope all is well your end, whatever your greeting might be. I've jumped straight to the point, and I've also made it a little bit human. So instead of indulging in COVID-induced Netflix binge, I use my time to write a book, and then detail about what they're going to get out of it. So it's filled with practical ideas and strategies to support your business, etc. And then in brackets, more detail. So the brackets are like an afterthought but the afterthought that goes, boom, baby, it's going to help you with LinkedIn marketing, bookkeeping, email triage, admin. So, and then the casual. Anyway, if you want a copy, it's on me. Instead of saying, for a free copy of the book, download it here, we purposely decided not to have a link to go to somewhere for them to download. We wanted more personal touch. So it's been a little bit more work for the VA, for Jonathan, because he's had to reply to them all and get their email. Because some people even say, yes, I'll have one, thanks. And then he writes back going, well, can you send your email, please? You know, that's fine because it's interaction, and, you know, and they can actually see that we've got a VA as well who's doing all this. So that's another key thing that worked for us as well, is making it a little bit personal. So in this world of automation, you know, the personal touch comes in really, really handy. So it's, you know, you're at the checkout and someone's packing your bags for you. So that's the magic of this message. And the other magic is there's no magic. You'll just test and measure. But there's some hints for you. Get straight to the point. Put some brackets in there. No more than 2 sentences. Make it you, and make it really easy to read and familiar language. Thanks, Carmen.
Yeah. And we did test and measure the landing page, but Maureen's hunch was accurate. It was more effective if we did this approach, which I think is because I think it's unique. Most people just go to a landing page. We do have one, but it wasn't as effective as this approach. And we've collected 3,000 emails using this approach. All those people now receive our newsletter, and they are also in a retargeting audience on Facebook. So for a couple of dollars a day, all these people keep on seeing us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, wherever they are, they keep on seeing us. So they, you know, they can't escape us.
So Carmen, what I also want to say is there's magic in words. This is my passion in life. What to say, when to say it, how to say it. And I don't think we put enough thought into it. So you look at that last line. Anyway, it's like throwaway. Like, anyway, if you want it, or it doesn't matter. Anyway, if you want a digital copy, in brackets, on me, like you do, you know, at a coffee shop, they go to pay, you go, no, it's on me, or at the pub or something. So this is all beautifully orchestrated based on humans and how we interact. So the words are really, really important. I haven't said send, I've said shoot through your email. Like, it's just because that's the language we use. So when you look, I'm happy to help people if they want to get started with this, if you find that you struggle. The temptation is for people to write everything in it. They want to make it long. They want to tell all the ways they can help people. They want to say, this is an amazing book. Where have I said this is life-changing book? It's amazing. I haven't. I've just gone, well, this is what Maureen did during COVID. And here's some stuff in it that you might find useful. So it's like that. The pulling away from people really works as well, as you know, when you're selling. The worst thing is to have a little puppy dog going, yes, come on, buy this. So you want someone to just go, yeah, you want more of the cat who comes up and rubs himself against you and then meanders off. And then you go, hey, where are you going? So you want that to come through in your messaging, and in fact, everything you do. You know, here it is. If you're interested, it might not be for you, but if you're interested, here it is. So I'd go much more for that approach than the puppy dog approach. Thank you. And
being the scientist, a while back we had messages for something else, and I had my message and Maureen had hers, and I thought, let's test them. And my message was more down the standard copywriting route, and Maureen's was just out there different. And and Maureen's was better, of course. And so I then did a quiz on LinkedIn saying, which one do you think was the most effective? And all the copywriters said my one would be the most effective. And it wasn't. Maureen's was twice as effective as mine. So it's worthwhile when you're at this stage getting some input. I mean, I've learned how to do Maureen's as well now, but to get some input from us to just to tweak it. But, you know, here's an example here to get you on your way. So this is about getting people off LinkedIn so you can get them to an email, but even just contacting them and offering them something free about what you do, it does also get you leads as well. So like I said, we have people replying to this saying, I don't even need the book, just hook me up with a meeting, I want a VA. And then we had people who read the book and then wanted a virtual assistant and all those permutations. So this has been really, really effective for our business.
And then can I just add something else? So remember how we talked earlier about your target market. So you might be targeting people over 3 months. How impactful is it going to be if you are targeting sporting clubs and then you say, this is something that I've written especially for sporting clubs? And you can do that and you can get your VA to pick out all the sporting clubs and send it to a particular event. It might be the same resource with a different heading or a slightly different bent that you might use for a few different target markets. But how can you make it so that because you can obviously niche your product or service or niche your audience. So in this instance, sometimes niching your audience can really work as well. Thanks, Carmen.
Yeah. And then you can also reach out to get people on another platform. So one of my pet projects at the moment is a group. We've now got 1.2 thousand people in it of cool business owners who are doing business their way. And so one of the ways we've got people there is to message people and say, hey, do you want to come and join the group? And so now we've got 1.2 thousand people in the group, and anything we post gets hundreds and hundreds of views. So it's just another place that we can retarget people. Like, if people are a Maureen or Carmen sort of person and they come into our, into our circle, we get their email, we get them in the group where, they start to see the Facebook retargeting ads. They're already seeing us on LinkedIn. Like, it's pretty hard to run away. So we nab them.
Carmen, did you write that? It's pretty good.
What?
Did you write that?
Yeah.
That's really good.
I probably asked you at one point.
No, it's good.
Thanks. Well, it's been effective. So
yeah.
Then, way back when we were able to do live events, this is where this process started. So we actually reached out to people and invited them to events. So there are a number of people here that came to our events. Actually, a lot of you guys have been to our events at some point in the past. I just spoke to someone yesterday who wants a VA, and he came to an event in South Melbourne 2 years ago, and he knows me and I don't know him. That's the scary thing about this. The scary and good thing is people will start to feel like they know you. So I actually did some Zoom speed dating last year, and one of the guys actually knew me from social media. So as you start to put yourself out there, people will feel like they know you. Anyway, so he's speaking to me. He's actually in the hot springs, speaking to me, feeling like he knows me, and he's now ready to go get a virtual assistant. So he's sussing me out and wanting to take the next step. And he came to an event years ago. So these things are cumulative. You just keep on touching people. Sort of like in the playground, you like a boy or a girl and you just keep on poking them or, just going, hey, I'm here.
In old days.
How are you doing today? Whatever. So you just keep on poking them. So we send out a reach out message, usually roughly every 3 months for something new. We never say, well, we haven't done it yet. Maybe we could try. But we don't do get a VA from us. Here's my calendar. This is, would you like something free? Do you want to join this cool group? Hey, we're having this event. Would you like to come to the event? And so this is another example of a reach out message. Maureen, do you want to share why this reach out message was so effective?
So we're straight to the point. Do you want to come along? It's a free breakfast about virtual staff, and then the brackets again. 3 key things, the how-tos really work, strategies, really people want practical stuff. They want answers to things. And again, we've put the brackets after. So any time in life, I always say, do the so what test. In your marketing, always do a so what test. So what do I mean by this? If you say, we'll give you strategies to help you delegate effectively. So what? You delegate effectively. What does that mean? So what? And then in the bracket, you write the answer to the so what. So you won't fall back into old habits of trying to do everything yourself. So we do great, really great uniforms, and everyone matches and looks good. So what? Who cares if people are matched, looks good? So it brings a sense of community to your club, which we all know attributes an increase in membership. So it's... Are you still there?
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't sure if you got that. So, and I thought it was brilliant. I just came up with a really good...
Yeah, it was brilliant, yeah.
So there's the so what's in the brackets, and then here's a link if you want to come. Like, we haven't even gone. We'd love to see you there 10 times. We've just got it. Awesome if you want to be there. Here's a link if you want to come.
Yeah.
It's not the date. It's not RSVP by here. There's not too much detail for people to say, to question things too much. At least they're going to click through and have a look. Carmen's also getting pretty good at getting people to click through, and if they go through to the page or the website, then we start remarketing to them, which is another great strategy that you can use as well. So even if you get them off for this small second onto your website, you can then, retarget, which works really well.
Yeah. So if you get the email, you can retarget them on Facebook. But if you get them to if you get them to your website, you can then retarget on Facebook and Google. Once again, more difficult to get away from you. So this is another great reach out strategy. So far we've covered the main elements. Your target markets at the start, we identified your target market. We spoke briefly about your profile, but that's pretty self-explanatory. Be yourself, get yourself a really good tagline. The rest is a done deal. Content, put yourself out there. Video should be in the mix. And think about how you can repurpose things. There was 3 months last year where I produced no content at all. I just wasn't feeling it. I have to feel excited and manic to produce content. I wasn't feeling it. I was feeling a bit down. Like I was at home. But no one would know. The team just kept on putting up content. It just kept on happening independent of what I was doing. So as you get a bank of content, at the start it's a bit full on, but then you can just sort of lean on your previous content. You can, we've spoken about expanding your market, so connecting with more people and then reaching out to people. And this is where the gold lies. So I just have some pictures of some team members, but through this process, so we are on other platforms, but LinkedIn's been the centerpiece of it. So through LinkedIn, so these are some faces, but our team is 3 times this size now. I couldn't even fit them onto a slide. So through LinkedIn, we've grown our business that much. So LinkedIn is very powerful. And I think once you get your LinkedIn going, then it's about linking it with all the other platforms as well. But LinkedIn is the start of it. Yeah. So it's pretty amazing if you work out the right strategy and then obviously get your virtual assistant to support you to implement it and test and measure and just, completely smash it and show the world what you're made of and how you can support them.